She spun effortlessly in his arms, as if my very existence had vanished into the shadows of the vast ballroom. The chandelier bathed the polished floor in a golden glow, illuminating their movements. Their laughter rang out, bright, exaggerated, and laced with the kind of falseness that betrayed the truth they thought I hadn't uncovered. I remained unnoticed, a silent figure in the crowd, watching my wife move to the rhythm of a man she once swore meant nothing to her. Our daughter, her face glowing with innocent delight, clapped softly from the sidelines. To her, this was her mother's triumph, a celebration of freedom and unshackled joy. To me, it was the breaking of the vow I had made clear. If she dances with him, I am done. She had dismissed my words as hollow, but I meant them. And so, I walked away, leaving her and our daughter to face the ruin left behind by their choices. For 20 years, I poured everything into Alina, into us. It was the kind of love that strips a man bare, that bends him when pride begs him to resist, that urges forgiveness even when every nerve screams against it. Together we built a life, brick by brick, a daughter, a home filled with sunlight pouring through tall windows, mornings scented with fresh coffee, days painted with laughter, and wounds we somehow managed to heal. But then Nate returned, her childhood confidant. Too familiar, too clever, circling like a vulture above the fragile structure of our marriage. I saw it in her eyes whenever his name surfaced. I felt the weight in her silences when I asked questions she didn't want to answer. Long before she admitted it to herself, I could see her swaying to his rhythm. Mara, 17, idealistic, too young to recognize betrayal in disguise, believed she was championing her mother's happiness. She encouraged Alina, blind to the truth. This wasn't romance nor passion, but a betrayal far more profound than infidelity. When I set my boundary, I didn't plead. My voice was steady, unwavering. Alina, if you dance with him, I will walk away, not from anger, but because I know what I'm worth. She looked at me as though I were unreasonable, incapable of understanding her heart. But I understood all too well. That night, Mara helped her slip into a crimson gown, whispering words of encouragement. You can't let anyone hold you back, Mom. Go after your happiness. I overheard, and in that moment my resolve crystallized. As they stepped onto the dance floor, my world didn't collapse in chaos. It dissolved into a piercing clarity. This kind of betrayal doesn't ignite rage. It sharpens resolve. The following morning, I moved with deliberate precision. I made breakfast, drove Mara to school, pressed a kiss to Alina's forehead, routine masking intent. Then, step by step, I prepared. First, I secured our finances. Alina had never bothered with the accounts, never asked about transfers or balances. Quietly, I moved assets, liquidated investments, and placed the funds into an offshore trust, accessible to Mara only when she turned 25, and only if she proved her loyalty. Second, the house, purchased solely in my name at the beginning of our marriage. I amended the deed, inserting a clause transferring ownership to someone she would never expect. That card I kept close, waiting for the right moment to reveal. Third, the evidence. Every piece gathered meticulously. Surveillance footage, email exchanges, a hotel bill from June, a dinner in March, her visits to a so-called dance coach. Each detail time-stamped, secured, undeniable. For a week, I wore a smile brighter than ever, concealing the storm beneath. And then came the finale, a private gathering I staged under the guise of celebrating my retirement. Alina appeared in the same scarlet dress. Mara fussed over her hair. Nate arrived late, smug grin in place, champagne in hand, as though the night belonged to him. The scene was set. I raised my glass. I want to thank my wife and daughter for their unwavering support through these last months. Applause followed. Alina glowed. Mara leaned against her. Tonight is a celebration, I continued. But first a tribute. I nodded toward the DJ. The projector came to life. At first, it displayed our happiest moments. Our wedding, Mara's first steps, years of love etched in memory. Then the images shifted. Grainy footage of Alina and Nate slipping into a hotel, her voice caught in a recording. He's suspicious, but I don't care. The room fell into silence. Next appeared Mara, caught on camera at my study's doorway whispering, "Go for it, Mom. You deserve to dance." The final image lingered. Alina spinning in Nate's arms, radiant, unapologetic. I turned to them. So yes, she danced. The silence suffocated the room. Alina's face drained of color. Mara's lips parted, stunned. I placed an envelope on the table. I said I would leave. Inside were the signed divorce papers, the deed transferring our house to my sister, the one who never cared for Alina, and a note for Mara. You aided her betrayal. Choices carry weight. Love demands loyalty. Then I walked out. No shouting, no looking back. Only the cold night air filling my lungs. They tried to reach me later. Calls soaked with tears, apologies too late. Alina begged for a meeting. Mara sent messages heavy with guilt, claiming she never meant to wound me, only to free her mother. But betrayal isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's the quiet choice to let someone bleed. Weeks passed. Word reached me that Nate had abandoned Alina, unwilling to face the fallout. The thrill evaporated once the lies were exposed. The house was gone. The accounts locked. Alina moved into a cramped apartment with paper-thin walls and groaning floors. Mara stayed with friends, calling me once with her voice trembling. I listened, then told her, let her speak. When she did, I answered, you danced too, Mara. You just didn't realize the cost. And I ended the call. Closure isn't always found in courtrooms or signed documents. Sometimes, it's in the mirror they face each morning, the silence that greets them at night, the trust they shattered echoing back in their losses. I loved them both with everything I had. But I love myself more. The night she chose to dance was the night she unknowingly chose her last taste of joy unburdened by consequence.